Hi everyone, welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the pod.
Back again.
Back again with another episode in the studio.
Yes.
Exciting. I actually just love it so much more than when we're at home.
Yeah.
The feeling's there, the excitement's there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. There's something in the air.
Yeah, there's something in the air.
There just is. And it's not just the better mics. It's just, it's the energy as well. It's both.
Oh my god.
I was telling Melissa I love that I don't have to hold the mic. I just feel so fancy.
Yeah. Does this look weird, by the way?
No.
Okay, with the...
It doesn't.
Does it look like bunchy? Like, tell me. Would you rather?
It doesn't. You can tie it if you want.
Should I tie it?
Show
I'm
me.
just gonna leave it
It's
like...
cute.
Okay. It's just cozy.
Yeah, it is cozy. But we never have to think about how we look.
Yeah. And I'm like, how do I look on camera?
Because, we be in our sweats usually recording.
Yeah. Glasses sometimes.
Pajamas, glasses, and not cute ones either.
Yeah. And even when we did have a period where we would record
the
video as well, but like my bottom half was sweats.
You're right.
Yeah.
And our quality wasn't that great on the computer, so like you could get away with a little bit, But now it's like, no, we want to look cute.
Okay, so as it is 2024, so crazy, and it's so crazy how the time has been flying by. We kind of wanted to recap 2023, and then any intentions that we have for the new year. We do this every year. I think personally, in our personal lives, we both have always done some sort of goal and intention setting. Yeah, I always reflect.
Yes, at the beginning and end of every year. And then for the past couple years on the pod as well, we've always kind of done a recap, discuss the future on the podcast, and kind of put it out there of what we want the next year to be. So I think it's a really good tradition.
I think it is.
Love it.
I mean, looking back, I think we have around 2 episodes that we've already done that's like our recap. So if you guys want to go listen to those, like I'm sure like our goals have changed, or I mean, it's so crazy. It's been, this is our 3rd time doing it now. Yeah.
Exactly.
So how have you been feeling about 2023 as it's come to an end?
This feels like a big year.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think personally we've talked about the fact that, I mean, and next year is going to be 25. 2024. I'm going to turn 25. So are you. So I feel like next year's going to be a big one too. But this year just totally felt like I'm adulting in a different way. Like, oh, I'm an adult.
Yeah.
Before I felt like, okay, I'm like...
La-di-da.
Yeah. And now it feels like, no, I feel more responsible.
Yeah.
I feel more, like more involved in these big decisions. I feel like there's more on me. I don't know.
No, I also have been feeling that. I think this year was like the first time I've kind of felt not post-grad-y anymore. Like... I feel like I'm starting to become more of an adult. Yeah. And we've talked about it before, but I feel like our first year out of college, because we didn't really have that senior year, like, I felt like that's when I was, like, having my senior year. Yeah. It was wilding. Like, I would go out a lot. I was having a lot of fun, drinking a lot, doing all of that. And I've come to a point now where I'm like, I really want to focus on my career and like what I'm passionate about, and like I just don't want to sit around doing something I don't like for the rest of my life.
It feels a lot more. Also, my button just popped. I just want to tell everyone. I was sitting here and my button just popped. So
I didn't even know
it totally did.
When did you fix it?
You see the subtle?
I didn't even see it.
This is what happens when you're recorded. It's gonna take a second. We will get there. Yeah. But what I was saying was, it feels like we're making more decisions for the future instead of short-term gratification. I think up until now, at least for me, it's been like, what do I want right now? And now it's like, no, what do I want for the future? How do I set myself up? What do I want my life to look like? And it's the shift in mindset.
Yeah, and like the habits that you want to start. Yeah. I saw this like really interesting TikTok the other day that was like expressing like how like it's so important to think about your future self and like the habits that you would think about, how your future self would be and what the habits you want to start making to be that. Yeah. You like want to start that now.
It's that mindset shift of of setting yourself up before. Because don't you feel like we lived a little day to day before?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You still do live day to day, like get through the moments, but it's like we wouldn't think so long term.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's like, what would I want my life to look like next year, for example, and what steps do I need to take for that to happen? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So have you been kind of thinking like 5 to 10 years from now? Have you been doing some reflecting?
I feel like 10 years is a lot for me.
10 years is a lot.
Yeah. I've been doing more year reflecting.
Okay.
Just because I also don't know exactly what my life like. I can say materialistically, like I want to be financially free,
right.
like I want like this type of house.
But I still think those are good things to write down.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing in therapy, because I keep talking to my therapist about a lot of my discussions lately have been, I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
I don't know what anything is going. I'm confused.
Yeah.
And so she gave me really good advice to write down what I want my life to look like in 5 years. And obviously it's like, I don't know exactly what job I want, but I know that I want to feel fulfilled in a job.
Mm-hmm.
I know that maybe I want, to have a partner, or I want to start thinking about, like in 10 years I want a family, or it's like kind of thinking about what that would look like. And so that you have to start thinking about that now to make steps to that. So I have to start thinking about like a 5-year
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a 30.
Yeah.
Like 5.5, 6 years.
Yeah. I'm actually, like I have such a funny thing that I did. I journaled and I drew a picture of like what I want my life to look like. Because I'm such a visual person. Wow. Like I have an artist mind. Like that's how I...
Wow, that gave me goosebumps. That's such a cool thing. They say pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Yeah,
like,
and it's not a good picture. It's with a pen.
Oh,
but I like drew what I want my house to look like, what kind of car I want my look like, family, friends, my style, like how I want my style to look like all those different things.
That's amazing.
And like I hope to look back on that, and I guess that was kind of like my future goal setting.
One day, years from now, when you're really fulfilled and successful, you can frame that in your office, that little drawing that you did.
It's gonna be so funny to look back.
No, it's gonna be so precious.
It is. And
wow.
I mean, we've always talked about how writing things down, you tend to work towards it subconsciously.
Putting it out in the universe.
Put it out there, speak about it, talk about it, write about it. Such big things to make the things you want in life to happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're right. The power of writing something down.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you don't look back at it a lot.
Yeah.
Even if you write it, close it.
Yeah.
And put it away.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, that's with you.
Yeah.
It is.
I think also not only writing it is like believing in it, and like I feel like we kind of reflected on this with the podcast recently, because I had a conversation with someone and I was like, I feel like I was talking about things that I was doing in such a small way.
Yeah, like not giving yourself enough credit.
I wasn't giving it the worth and the credit that it deserved, even though, it's not where we imagine it to be. Or like, my career is not exactly where I want it to be. But if I speak about it as if like, this is really good, like I'm so proud of it, like that kind of action, it like manifests.
Yeah. It's so easy to discount your accomplishments.
Yeah.
And what you actually have done.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a good point. Is that a women thing? Do we do that as women?
It could be.
We talk down on ourselves.
Yeah. It's because like we're taught to not be loud. We're taught to not like do a lot of...
It's hard to even view yourself as... It's hard to even view your accomplishments as big.
Yeah.
I think we minimize them. Like, oh, it's just that little thing, or,
I mean... It's such a prevalent thing, especially in workplaces. Like, it's still so present to this day.
Yeah.
And, like, there has been changes in, like, workplace settings and women are doing great things.
Yeah.
But it is so easy to feel minimized in a workplace when there are a lot of men.
Yeah, and I think it's almost just ingrained in us. Like, it's just, like, kind of how you move about life.
Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to voice your opinion.
Yeah, we don't take compliments well. We aren't comfortable with recognizing the things that are good.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
It's crazy.
It's so crazy.
But I guess reflecting on this past year, what's a highlight, a personal highlight that you've had? Is there something that stands out where you're like, I'm proud of that, or that's a good moment that I had?
I love that question.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to hear what you say too.
Yeah.
But the most mind work that I've done this year was saying no. And we've
talked about that a little bit.
The toughest thing that I've ever had to do, because I'm so bad at it. I'm so easy to just do what everyone else wants to do and go with the flow.
Yeah.
And I will go to things. Like, I love being with my friends. Like, that's the main thing. Sometimes I really don't care what we're doing because I want to be with my friends. But I've had to make the decision to say no to things because I've had to ask myself a little bit more, like, what do I want to do? What do I want my life to look like? Mm-hmm. And
so you feel like you've been saying no more?
I've been saying no more, and it's so tough because I'm such a people pleaser at heart, and I'm like, I don't want anyone to like think of me as like, oh, she doesn't come anymore, or like that kind of thing. Like that is what scares me, and that's why it's so hard for me to say no to things and not go to things. But it's not that I don't want to spend time with you. It's just that like I have other things I need to do.
Yeah. That's true. That's really true. I'm trying to think of a highlight for me this year, or something that has been, again, it's hard to reflect. And also a year, like, it's a long time.
I know.
It's really long.
Yeah. It feels like it flew by fast, but a lot has happened.
It has.
Yeah.
You know, something that I've worked on this year is discomfort and being more okay with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever I never learned how to be okay with discomfort. Mm-hmm. Either not, like something that wasn't a positive emotion. I think I always tried to reject it.
Yeah.
And I'm like scared of feeling something, I don't know, tough, and so I think this year has been a lot of just like learning that it's a part of life.
Yeah.
And it's part of life to feel confused and sad and anxious and all these things and uncomfortable. And I don't know. I don't think I was ever good at that for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm still not where I want to be.
Yeah.
But I'm way better than I was last year.
Yeah. And I feel like I've seen you really blossom in just the past few months.
Really?
And like because you made the decision to move home.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
it was such a hard decision for me. And I don't know why. Like, again, these things feel like, oh, they're small. But I don't know. I think for me, I also don't love change. And I think that's just human nature.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
But I don't love change. I like my routine, and I like the homeostasis of everything being how I know it.
Yeah.
And I always have struggled with, and I think every time I've had to move or make a big decision like that, I'm so scared of the feeling I know I'm going to feel.
And the
struggle.
unknown.
Yeah. The struggle of getting used to it.
Yeah.
And the struggle of finding my footing.
Yeah.
Even though you have to feel that. Mm-hmm. But I've not been good at it. Historically, and I've gotten better.
Yeah, because I feel like in the past 4 months, just from how I've seen you grow, like I feel like you've been really taking advantage of the opportunity to be at home.
Wow.
And like really doing the things you want to do.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
And I think I've started to view life differently. I think things always feel like a bigger deal, and I'm just trying to go, just to do more, and give myself less dead time.
Yeah.
Like, you need time to rest, but I think sometimes, like, having too much time to yourself to think can be a little,
It's a little too much sometimes.
It's a little too much.
Yeah.
It can be a little, like, detrimental.
And it's not, when you have a lot of time, all of it's not intentional.
Yeah. So, for example, now what I do is, I was talking a bit about how I have been going to gym classes. If I have an evening after work and I have the ability, even if it might be a little rushed or like, I will make myself go to a gym class.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting there at home. And I think being more physically active, not just going to the gym, but it makes me do other things. Like body in motion stays in motion because I'm going to the gym every day. My mind is working more. Every time I have a minute, instead of like going on my phone or using it as unproductive dead time that's not filling me up or anything, I'll work towards a podcast or I'll read or I'll do something. I'm trying to be more intentional about my time.
Agreed. And there's something about like, I don't know if you're like this too, but like when we have more things to do, we tend to do more.
Yes.
And when we have less to do, we do less.
And I feel like I'm better.
Yeah.
I'm doing it better.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm in that mind space of like committing and showing up.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot easier to show up for another thing.
Yeah. Because you're filling your cup.
Yeah.
So you're able to pour into others.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really feel that same way too, because like I've been feeling very burnt out like socially.
Okay.
And because I was saying yes to a lot of things, and it would be like everything like back to back to back, and I would end the weekend feeling drained.
Yeah.
And then I wouldn't feel motivated for the week. I'd feel so tired.
I feel the same way.
And then as soon as I refreshed by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday would start again, tired again.
Yeah.
And I have decided, like, I want to do the social things, but I can't say yes to everything. I have to say no to a few things so that I can fill into my cup. And then when I hang out with my friends, I can give them my full energy and attention.
Yeah, I can be more present.
Yeah.
I think for me, as we talked about, I moved back home to Jersey. So coming into the city has been a little draining, because what will happen is if, like, let's say we all want to hang out on a Friday, I have to leave, like, right after work.
Yeah.
I have to, and also I'm packing my bag, and I just feel like, and then I'll come back Sunday and go straight back into it.
Yeah.
And I don't have any time to recharge, and like in a way that makes me feel good to do to like work on the things that I want to be working on the weekends, to be going to the gym, to be feeding my mind. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's also that struggle with like, should our 20s also look like that? Is it supposed to be like so busy?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like sometimes I have an old woman's mind, because
we and I are both grandmas.
Like,
that's true.
I want to sleep early. I want to wake up early. Like, I want to rest and
we've always been
cozy
like that.
tea.
Yeah.
Like,
you and I have always been like that.
Yeah, we've always been, and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes our 20s are supposed to be like party, 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 wait, stay up all night. And I do like to do that, but I love being cozy.
Yeah. Totally. I agree. I'm a homebody.
Me too.
Like, I'm a homebody with like friends who aren't.
Yeah.
That's how I describe it.
Me too.
I am fully a homebody, just surrounded by people who don't let me be.
But the thing is, like, it's good because I feel like it pushes us to like do those things.
So when Mas and I studied abroad in London, I remember we would always say that we did a lot, and it's because we made really good friends who were good about just being more impulsive than us. Because if it was up to us, I don't think we would have gotten out as much as we did, in a good way.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I'm so glad that we got out.
We did that.
But if it was just us, we wouldn't.
We'd be just in bed. Oh, good night.
Yeah, good night. Let's sleep early. Like, honestly.
Oh my god. There was this one time me and Ashika went to New York, and we like stayed the night here, and we just like, we're like, oh, 10:30, time to go to bed.
But also that's like okay.
Yeah.
That's also how we have fun.
That is.
We had a nice dinner.
Yeah, we did.
We had a deep conversation. We went on a walk, and we're like, okay, sleep time.
You know what? That's true. Yeah.
And you know what's funny is I kind of feel like some of our friends are getting there now, but I've always been there. So I've been waiting. I'm like, now you know what it feels like.
Yeah. Now you want to come to our side.
Now you want to come to our side. Now you know how it feels when you don't want to be up because you can't keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
I've been like that.
And I think you and I have always also been like early morning people.
Comparatively,
yeah.
But you are a really early morning person. Masa takes it to another level.
6 a.m. vibes.
Especially when she has drank the night before.
Yeah.
You'll be up the next day.
So I had this thing last year, which I don't know how I did it, but I would stay up night, partying, drinking till 2 a.m, and then 8 a.m. solid core class.
What?
Yeah. And why did I book the 8 a.m.? Why did I book the 9 or 10? And for some reason, I was always 8 a.m. 8:10.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do that anymore.
That's crazy.
That was my year last year.
No, I need to lay there. If I've had a night, I'm laying there. Like, I might be awake, but I don't want to do anything. I kind of want to take a chill day. Like, I'll do more, I'll chill out. But you are up.
Yeah, I need to be cleaning. I need to be running. I need to be doing things.
That's true. You are very active.
Yeah.
Like up and at it.
Yeah. Maybe it's to make up for all the drinking.
Yeah. Maybe
So like I'm
guilty.
like I need to be productive today.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because I get pretty bad anxiety. Not all the time, but sometimes. And that's those days when I will go work out because it helps clear my mind.
That is.
Or then I'll just sit in the anxiety.
That's a productive way to deal with it.
Because it like gets rid of it. You sweat it out a little bit.
Totally.
It could be a placebo.
Listen,
I don't know.
You need endorphins do wonders.
Yeah.
Literally. You feel bad, go exercise.
That is true. 100%.
It'll make you feel
so good.
Better already.
Yeah. 100%.
Totally. I agree. Is there a favorite moment that you had this year before we start talking about next year? Like a memory that you're like, that was a really good memory. This is a good year.
Yeah, it has been a good year in terms of we traveled a lot this year. What else? I was on a plane every month since February. I mean, that part of it is because my family doesn't live here, so I feel like I just tend to...
But you did
traveling. We traveled a lot.
Yeah.
One of my favorite memories is when we went to Martha's Vineyard.
Yeah.
That was like the best trip I've had ever. It was so good. And then my another favorite memory has been in my relationship because I've never been in a healthy relationship, so this is all so new to me, and the amount of happiness that it's brought me this year is so crazy.
So crazy. Like going through firsts in a healthy relationship. And I also I feel like your birthday was a good memory. You know?
So good. Like
just everyone there, your partner, your best friends, the support.
And I don't know if I brought this up, but like I feel like I've had to live life very independently and had to take care of myself in a lot of ways.
You are very independent.
And to have someone like take care of me in certain ways feels so good.
Yeah,
and like
different.
To shut my mind off.
It's different.
And like there was just one day I was just talking about like, I was like running out of toothpaste, something like that. He shows up with
toothpaste.
It's such a silly thing.
That is really sweet.
But like I was like, I will never forget.
Feeling like someone is worried about you.
Yeah.
Someone else is worried about you.
Yeah. And like thinking of what I need and gives it.
Yeah.
Without even me asking.
That's so nice.
I know.
Aww. Cute little relationship. That's true.
Yeah.
You had a lot of good moments. That's nice.
What about you? What was your favorite moment, memory?
That's a good question. I loved our Martha's trip for sure.
Yeah.
That was really, really fun. I'm trying to think back to this year. It's such a big year.
Yeah.
I think maybe the Martha's trip was my favorite.
Yeah.
Maybe the Martha's trip. I think maybe that one. That was a really good one. Again, I loved my birthday. I always love celebrating
Your
birthdays
birthday.
because it's like everyone you love together.
Yeah.
It's less about the thing you do and more about everyone being together.
Yeah, because it's hard to get everyone you love all together.
It's hard to get everyone you love all together. And then also a big trip that we went on to Thailand.
Yeah.
I think it was, first of all, we went to Tokyo, which has been my dream destination.
And you did that.
Forever.
Yeah.
I thought that I got to check that off my bucket list this year.
And you'll be back?
Yeah. I'm going to go back.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon. But it was such a nice check off the bucket list.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And you got to spend time. We got to spend time with elephants.
With elephants?
Yeah.
I think it was that. I think, Melissa, you hit it.
I would just like to let you know, I know you guys didn't see Ishika's reaction visually, but I have never seen Ishika like so like, I don't know how to explain it.
Like mesmerized.
Yeah.
The thing is, I knew I would cry, and I thought I would cry out of happiness. So we went to this elephant sanctuary in Thailand. Go back and listen to the Thailand recap because we talk about it.
Yeah.
And I knew I would cry, and I always thought I would cry from happiness. I also cried from just like the overwhelming feeling of being around animals, of the amazing work that they were doing, of seeing some of these elephants like struggling physically, like impaired because of humans.
Yeah, because like they would tell us stories about like how the elephants got there, and some of them were just very sad.
And also how gentle
that
they were.
Gentle giants.
Oh my god, it was the coolest experience I've ever.
And they have emotions.
They have emotions.
There was this one elephant that I feel like I could see her crying.
Yeah, you're right. I think that was probably one of the best
Thanks.
moments this year for me. Just the
very
connection
grounding.
I felt. Totally.
Yeah. And like, yeah, that trip as a whole was like, I feel like different than any other trip we've ever taken.
I've never been international.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we went abroad.
Yeah.
But not like a fully on our own.
We've done Europe a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like this was a big one.
Yeah,
that flight was a lot.
It was so long. That was a flight.
And now that I think about it, if you live in LA or like California, trip to Tokyo is not as far.
It's not as far.
And I never thought about that.
Yeah. It's half the, I mean, not half the distance, but it takes away a big chunk. And also the time difference becomes less.
I feel like you can take a direct flight there.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think you can actually.
Yeah.
You might be able to. We had to stop over, but that was a really, really good trip.
It was.
And those were obviously big moments, but there was like so many nice little small moments. You mentioned one with your boyfriend. So there was a lot of nice little moments, I feel like, this year.
So overall, would you say it was a good year?
It was a good year.
Yeah.
It was a year of growth.
Yeah.
And we always come up with a word. We did this last year too. We come up with a word at the beginning of every year for the year. My word was surrender, and I think I did it.
Yeah.
I did it way more than I had before. What was your word last year?
I don't think I had a word, but it was choosing myself, and I did.
You did it.
And I didn't do it in the first half of the year, but I feel like the second half of the year, I really put it into place.
Chose yourself more.
That was a good recap of 2023.
Yeah.
And like now looking on to 2024, what is your word for the new year?
My word for 2024 is becoming.
Okay.
Like, I just want to come into myself more.
Okay.
Become more of who I am.
Yeah.
Lean into what I like to do. Lean into what I want my life to look like. Just more of becoming into myself.
Okay.
Or coming into myself.
I love that.
What's yours?
I couldn't think of a word that describes it fully.
Okay.
So I might go with the phrase again. But it's like passion along with career.
Okay.
And I touched on it a little bit, but I like really want to like focus on my career and like spend time doing things that I'm passionate about, because it like makes me feel alive. I feel so alive when I'm editing a video or like doing this. Like I want to do more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think again, this like podcasting is pretty new for me, and I feel like you've been on social media for a lot longer. You had a podcast before even before Plenty in 20. Yeah. So sometimes I feel like I don't know what I'm doing as much, but like it's so easy to learn things nowadays, and I agree. I'm so excited to like chase that more. Yeah. And just like learn more.
I mean, we went from like how we started to like look at us now, like in a studio, like so confident in front of these microphones, like us 2 years ago. We're so different.
Do you remember our first episode? I don't even remember our first episode, but I do remember on your old podcast. Yeah, I was a guest on Monsters podcast, and it's the first time first time we recorded together. First time I'd ever been on a podcast. I was so nervous. And I don't know where it switched.
I don't know. I think it's just like become such a comfortable thing now. Yeah. And I think with now that it's just both of us and we're just talking to each other, like I just feel like we're having a conversation.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
One other thing that I really want to work on in 2024, and something that I didn't know that I was experiencing, but I unpacked with my therapist, is working on my self-worth and my self-esteem. Okay. And how I show up in front of others. Okay. Because I think sometimes I'll get nervous to talk to people. Okay. And it's so weird because I don't think I was like this before COVID. Okay. I feel like COVID made me more shy and like scared to talk to people. Okay. And like maybe working from home did that.
What do you mean? Like you mean by like approaching new people?
I'm like nervous. Okay. I'm like, I will think like, oh, like what are they gonna think of me? Like that judgment. Yeah, that judgment. And I like really want to focus on like, I don't care what they think of me. This is like who I am. Yeah. And I want to just show up as myself. Yeah. Yeah.
I think fear of rejection and fear of judgment is a big part of how we move about the world. You know, my brother, he's a history major. He told me this really nice quote, and honestly, I could be misquoting it, but it was along the lines of this. Okay. I am not who I think I am, and I am not who you think I are. I am not who I think I am, and I am not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. Yeah. So it's all about how we think other people perceive us.
Yeah.
And that controls so much of how we move through this life.
Literally. And me and my roommate were talking like 3 weeks ago, and she was just like, we were just having such a deep conversation together. And she was like, Mana, like, you have such a calming presence.
Yeah.
You like are so nice.
Yes.
And it's so crazy because I've just been in my head about like, I didn't know I showed up like that.
Really?
Like, I didn't know like people thought of me like that. Like, I have been living my life just thinking like,
wow.
And I wasn't, and then I was like, that's when I went to my therapist and I was like, I need to work on this.
Yeah.
Showing up as like, or like telling myself like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And changing the way that you perceive yourself.
Yeah. I feel like I'm so hard on myself and I want to fix that. And I like want to see myself be in bigger spaces and bigger rooms with cool people and interesting things, and like I need to be able to work on that.
And this is a journey, first of all, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you don't, and there's never a final goal where you're like, now I'm confident enough.
Yeah.
We always deal with
growing
and growth and confidence, and I feel like it's very easy in this time in our lives, in your early 20s, like with the uncertainty, to kind of, with so much change, to kind of like struggle with that. I can see that. Socially, I felt that as well in certain ways.
Yeah. And like I feel like I want us to be in like these cool spaces going forward, and I like really want to just show up as myself. Yeah.
I can't believe a year from now, when we do our next year's, like after the end of next year, we'll be 25.
I know.
And we'll be talking about like us at 25.
I know. I mean, so much has changed in this 1 year. Like, imagine how much is going to change next year.
I can't even think about it.
Yeah.
Is there do you have any other like specific goals or kind of any other overarching things, maybe besides the podcast, that you want to bring into 2024?
I'm hoping in the new year I can have a space of my own. I like want to like live alone.
Okay.
I love my roommate, but I also think I'm ready to
like for
live
your own
alone
space
and decorate how I want it to be.
Okay.
Like, and I have always been someone that I like to come home to myself a lot. Like, I like my own peace and relaxation.
Yeah.
And I want to explore how it is to live alone. I've never done it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it feels like. Yeah.
That'd be really cool. And I could see you doing that. I think you could very easily like fit into that space.
I think the only thing I would be really scared about is like I get scared.
Yeah.
I need to do some like door lock situation.
Yeah, you like the security. No, that's fair.
Yeah. And I also I feel like that's the only thing.
That's like a main thing.
Main thing. And discovering my style.
Yeah. But I think you know what? I think you have a really good style.
Thank you.
And again, this is perception. As someone who looks, and I feel like you've always been it feels like you've always been like very
I think
secure.
I have like a baseline. Yeah. But I want to wear like more exciting pieces.
Take more risks.
Yeah, with my style.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
What about you?
I want to keep developing healthy habits, which I say every year. But like I think I've definitely incorporated mindfulness more this year, and I want to continue to incorporate more mindfulness. I really want to get some sort of like certification in terms of like Pilates or yoga.
Ooh,
I think it's always something I wanted to do, and then it's hard, you have to really commit. But I would love to like look into that.
I can so see that. And one,
two. Would you come to my classes?
Oh yeah.
Maybe we'll run the half, or you will, but maybe I will join you in running the half marathon.
Yeah.
That's, like a physical certification or a physical feat. I think that's on my list. That'd be really cool to be able to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for the podcast as well, to like, we talked about this in our last episode, but to host a holiday party.
Yeah.
And a year from now to have a really great community.
And I hope that, like to have a great community of people and like meeting people in real life.
Yeah.
And like inspiring people and like creating a group of people who are like confident in themselves. Like that.
And just people like hanging out with us.
Literally, we just want to have fun.
Yeah, we want more friends.
Have a drink with us, please.
I would also like to meet new people this year. I feel like I've met people here and there, but I haven't been so intentional about like really making new connections and like friendships for a couple of years. So I think that would be really nice to meet people in different walks of life. I want to date more.
Yeah.
That's something I want to do. I just want to like broaden my horizons.
Yeah. I'm excited for this new year.
Yes.
I feel like a lot is about to come out of this.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's gonna be a big one.
I know, 2024.
I know. I'm gonna go back, I think, and listen to our last year's one soon.
I'm nervous too, but I will also
hear what we said. It's gonna be so interesting.
I know. I feel like I was in the new of like a new relationship at that time.
Wait, it'll be funny to go back and listen.
I mean, like, it's so crazy. Like, so last year I had gone on my first date with my now boyfriend, like right before Thanksgiving. Right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then I went on Thanksgiving break, and I remember telling some of my cousins, like, oh, like I just went on this date. Like, I don't really know
what's gonna happen. Yeah.
And then this year I come home for Thanksgiving and I'm telling my cousins and I'm like, oh my God, we're dating.
Oh my God, that's funny.
So crazy. They're like, oh, like, is it the guy that you were talking about last year? I'm like, it's him.
It's him. It is.
So crazy.
Oh, that's crazy. That is really crazy. Wow. Growth.
So much growth. I also like really want in the new year to, I don't know how to be more organized in my space.
Yeah. Okay.
So I am a pretty organized person. I always make my bed clean. Yeah. But the hidden messiness is within.
Yeah. Oh, same.
Closet, messy.
Oh, mine is always
dresser, messy. Yeah. Desk, messy.
Yeah.
So like it looks pretty on the outside, but the inside.
Like you open a drawer and you're like, what is that?
Yeah. I want organization.
Yeah, me too. But I don't know if I'm ever gonna be like a fully organized person.
Yeah, I'm okay with having a little bit of an organized mess.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just how
more structure.
How I function. Like I know where it is. It looks messy.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. A little bit more structure would be nice. Yes. You know, just for getting things done. Yeah. That would be nice.
And another thing, and it's so funny because I'm literally drinking coffee during this episode.
You don't want to drink coffee?
I want to drink coffee less.
Yeah. I think you did that for a bit, right?
Yeah, it took a month, and then I went back on it.
Okay, but that's okay.
But I don't think caffeine works with my body.
Caffeine is not great for you.
It like affects my heart a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think this is supposed to be happening. I shouldn't do this. Maybe I need to take a step back. And I think it's okay to drink it once or twice a week.
Yeah.
But I don't need 2 cups a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in today's society, it's rarely like normalized.
Oh yeah.
Caffeine, just caffeine intake. A lot of it. Yeah.
It's normalized, and it's like Dunkin' sizes are huge.
That's America for you. That's just America.
So my family, they live in Texas, right?
Yeah.
So like everything is big there.
Even bigger in Texas?
Food. There's so much food. Like this is for a family of 3, not for 1 person.
My favorite is when I take someone from out of the country to the movie theater and they ask for a small drink.
And it's like a large.
And it's like, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's America. Don't worry.
Oh my God. I know.
Yeah. That's a good point. Caffeine is a good one.
Yeah. So has there been anything else that you've been kind of wanting in 2024?
I think those are my main things.
Yeah.
I would also like some more career clarity. I think you touched on that a little bit. And I would love to kind of continue that journey and continue discovering kind of what I want and what I want to do. And I do think that this, a year's a long time.
Yeah.
I think in a year I'll be in a different place, but I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah. I guess like the only other thing I wanted to do more is get back on YouTube.
Yeah.
I love vlogging.
You do, and you're good at it.
Yeah, and I love editing, and I love doing that whole thing. So big thing for 2024, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah. I want to start vlogging more and doing more of that. And like not being afraid to like pull out my camera. Yeah. Like it's New York, first of all.
Yeah. If there's some place you could do it, it's here.
No one bats an eye when you do something crazy here. Yeah. So if this is the place I'm going to do it, I want to do it.
Everyone be doing their own thing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have like a piece of advice for anyone listening?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm qualified to give advice.
Yeah, you are.
I'd still be figuring it out.
Me too.
I think, I guess my piece of advice is even through the uncertainty, like hold faith in the universe and yourself. Like know that it will be, you don't know it now, but you will.
Yeah.
And also it's like not about the destination
Yeah.
and more about the journey. And just like being okay with not knowing, and being okay with learning and discomfort. I think that is the biggest thing that I've been teaching or like preaching, and like practicing in my own life, and the biggest impact, the biggest thing that's like really benefited me on that mindset shift.
Yeah. I guess, let's see what my piece of advice would be is, I guess like just really being confident in yourself, and coming from someone who like didn't really have much of that.
Yeah.
Like be proud of who you are and how you show up.
Yeah.
And it's okay if your past self comes up from time to time.
Forgive yourself.
Forgive yourself. Allow her to be there, or him or they. And
wow, I love that.
like recognize that, and then also recognize like where you are now.
And I also think like forgive the past mistakes and decisions that you've made when you didn't know better.
We're all human.
Yeah.
We make mistakes. We do stupid things. Like that's part of like why we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Therapy.
Listen.
It's great.
I'm so glad you're on board.
I don't know why it took me so long to finally do it, but I'm glad I'm here today. Yeah.
It's really nice to work on yourself and work on your mind and have that outlet.
I will tell you, it is a commitment.
It's a commitment.
Like it's really showing up for yourself.
And emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like, it's sometimes even hard to like start the session.
Yeah.
Because you know it's going to be like, holy shit, like I'm about to unpack a lot. But you leave feeling like, wow, like...
I sometimes leave therapy feeling very mentally exhausted because you talk about so much stuff.
Tiring. I have to do it at the end of the day.
Yeah. You talk about so much stuff and you're like, wow, I just brought up a lot of things, you know? And they're not always happy.
Yeah, they're not always happy. Yeah. You sometimes cry.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you, though.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I guess that's another piece of advice. If you can and have the means to, go to therapy.
No. Yes.
Yes.
even if you...
Like, it doesn't have to be like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Like there are things to go to therapy for.
Yeah.
And
even if you think you're doing great, you are. But it still is such a nice outlet.
Yeah. And I always felt like I didn't want... I can talk to my friends about things. I can talk to my family about things. But something is different when you're talking to someone else.
Yeah, and a professional.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Little PSA.
Yeah.
This was so needed, I think, to start the new year as well.
I agree.
To like intention set, to think about what we want, and to kind of see how much we've grown this past year.
Yeah. So I've been reading this book by Deepak Chopra, and a lot of it is about like setting intentions and writing your own story. And it is the start of the year, and I know you can start your own story whenever.
Yeah.
But like I think it's such a great opportunity to start writing that new chapter.
Yeah.
And like making it how you want it to be.
Yeah. To take this as a time to kind of make new goals.
Yeah.
To make new. Yeah.
You can take
intentions.
control of certain aspects of your life.
Yeah.
So use that and do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
As usual, thanks so much for listening to this week's podcast episode. If you have any questions or want any specific guests, like we're so excited to be able to have the opportunity to have it on video now.
Yeah.
So let us know. And any topic ideas as well.
Go DM us.
Yeah, DM us, bother
out.
us, please.
Yeah. Come hang out.
Yeah. But thanks so much for listening to this week's episode, and you'll hear us and see us next week.
Bye.
Bye.